Okay, so now we're on session 11 and 12, right? Okay, so what's fiscal policy? I told you, anything that happens in the goods market, right? The government spends money, which is G, or the government reduces taxes, increase taxes, T. Monetary policy happens in the money markets when the South African Reserve Bank, the central bank, increases the supply of money or they decrease the supply of money, right? Obviously, if there's an expansionary, it moves to the right. Contradictory, it moves to the left of the monetary policy, obviously. And then same thing got to do with the fiscal policy. This you don't need to know the calculation. Basically, what you need to know is this. I told you in my previous video. If interest rises, this also means the yields and interest is the same thing. So if interest rises, obviously yields rise, but price falls. So price and interest is inverse relationship. So all you have to do is this. If the prices of bonds increase, the interest rate will drop. That's what you all need to know. Now, why is this important? Say people want more bonds, right? People want more bonds. People wanting something, that something the price will increase. So bonds will increase. That means interest rate goes down. So yeah, they have an inverse relationship. So South African Reserve Bank is in charge of monetary policy. I told you they can do it two ways. They can increase or decrease the supply of money, right? But most likely in South Africa, they use something called repo rate. If they increase the repo rate, this means banks like ABSA, they borrow from the South African Reserve Bank. They're going to be charged the interest rate. So to recover that cost, our interest rate in our banks will also increase. So all you have to know is this. If the South African Reserve Bank increase the repo rate, our interest we pay for loans in our normal banks, ABSA and all, are going to increase. And if our interest increases, what happens to the aggregate demand curve? Think it's going to shift. It's going to shift to the left, negative, because interest reduces our investment, right? We know that equation, I is equal to I minus BI. So, yeah. If you never watched that videos, make sure you watch my previous video. I said all that. Open market operations. Now, another way they can create or increase the supply of money is through open market operations, right? If the South African Reserve Bank, if they buy bonds, their money is going into the economy. So that's good, right? Money stock goes up, the supply of money goes up. If the South African Reserve Bank sells bonds, think about it logically. The money from the economy is going to go to the South African Reserve Bank. So whenever money is coming to the South African Reserve Bank, that's a contradictory policy. That means money stock is going down. That's bad. So anytime money is coming out from the South African Reserve Bank, because South African Reserve Bank, they make the money, they create the money, they print the money. So whatever money that comes out from there, when they buy bonds from us, we get the money from them. So that's an increase in money stock. Now, expansionary money policy. So if they increase the money supply, right? Obviously, LM is going to shift because this refers to the money market. So now the process goes from year to year to year, not from year to year. Follow the arrows. How? Okay, so simple, right? Because the money increase, the supply of money increase. Now, if I draw my supply curve of supply of money and demand of money, this is the supply of money, demand of money. That's the curve. If my supply increases, see, we were on here. If my supply increases, this means this new point is greater than my demand of money. So I got a lot of money. People in the economy have a lot of money. If people have a lot of money, they're going to invest in bonds. Always think about this. I told you in this graph, always think about bonds. If people want bonds, price of bonds will increase. And what did we learn? Interest rate will drop. There we go. There's our theory put into practice. That is why our interest rate drops. When that shifts, interest rate drops and it comes to this. It comes over here. Now, how does it go back up? You might be thinking, how on earth does it go back up? It's simple, right? So when this happens, right? Remember that 45-degree line in the aggregate demand function? Okay, our aggregate demand is slanting more, but you get the point. If your supply of money increases, right, then more people have money to buy goods, so your aggregate demand is going to increase. Or you can think about it like this, right? The supply of money, more people are buying money, because remember the interest rate dropped. So when the interest rate dropped over here, right, that causes something here that happens in the goods market. That means the aggregate demand will shift up. If the interest rate drops, aggregate demand shift up. So because of where the interest rate dropped by quite a bit, this will cause now a chain reaction. The aggregate demand is going to shift up. So because the aggregate demand shifts up, what's going to happen? Think about it. The aggregate demand will shift up. That means your Y is going to increase to this Y. And because output increases, right, people will want more money. So now I know this sounds confusing, but your demand curve is going to shift more to the right. And now your new point is over here at a higher interest rate. So see how we jumped from this interest rate to that interest rate? That is why now the interest rate went back up. So it went up here. There we go. So 3 things happen. Number 1, supply was more than the money. People buy bonds, interest rate goes down. Boom, down. Then because interest rate went down, aggregate demand shift up. Right? And because aggregate demand shift up, your demand went up. Your interest went up. Done. I'll do the next part after this.